It's Gorilla Time.
All right. First and foremost, of course, we give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shemash Gal Shai. It's Brother Side. I got the host with me, Alice Arbanoy, aka the Gorilla Hebrew.
Yes, sir.
How does that work? You the host, I'm the co-host, or how does that work?
You're like the co-host.
Okay.
You're the B mic.
Right. Got you. Okay.
You know what I mean? Well, I'll give you an A minus mic rather than. I want to just move you all the way.
Okay. All right. That works.
Don't put some respect
the two mic system.
We have the two mic system.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The two mic system.
Okay.
Right.
Off camera, we were getting into a conversation about pretty much legacy. Okay. People always talk about who's the Mount Rushmore of this, Mount Rushmore of NBA players, Mount Rushmore of anybody, rappers. So that kind of transitioned into a conversation that is going to take place right now about wrestling, the early, probably what, Attitude Era specifically?
I mean, that is
the peak
wrestling.
Yeah.
Everyone, younger kids younger than me, they like the Attitude Era, but they also tell people not to sleep on what's called the Ruthless Aggression Era. That's what was right. That's like
John Cena type stuff?
Yeah, John Cena. Ruthless Aggression comes from John Cena.
Okay, got you. Yeah.
So, 04 to, I don't know, 08, somebody. That's when I stopped watching.
No, that's when
I lost interest totally. So, I can't get down with that conceptually.
That's a soft white teen.
But also before. Right, because if you get into the time before, it was, there was some really good stuff. I recently got into wrestling from 89, early 90s. It was some real good stuff from that time, but nothing holds a candle to the Attitude Era. You know what I'm saying? That was, the most influential time, the peak time. That whole time period, but that kind of gets into the whole time period. That late 90s time, everything.
It was like magic. It was magical.
It was fucking amazing.
You know what just came to my head?
Bro. I mean, what's coming to my head? Major Pain 1-800-COLLECT commercials. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about magical shit. That's magical, nigga. You feel me? Go ahead. I
just remember what's in my head. I just think about, I don't know why. There's so many moments you can pick from that whole era. But I remember, who was it? Was it Rikishi that put, when he destroyed, it might have been Stone Cold. I think it was Rikishi, though, when he put the stuff in McMahon's car. What's it called when it dries? I don't know why.
No, that was Stone Cold put the cement.
The cement truck.
He had a brand new Corvette.
Yeah.
With the top open and put a cement truck and filled a Corvette with cement. A brand new Corvette.
And all you just see is on the big screen.
Just McMahon go.
Oh, you just can't believe it. That's magical stuff.
Okay,
man.
He drove a goddamn Zamboni to the ring. He gave everybody a beer bath. Now, I'm going to tell you something about the beer bath, right? About Austin. Who was in the ring for the beer bath? Vince, Shane, The Rock. Guess who didn't get sprayed with the hose?
The Rock?
He blatantly did not spray Rock with the hose because he understood the racist imagery. He was spraying. I'm talking about Vince and Shane. Yeah. I'm talking about spraying them down. He didn't even, The Rock just kind of was like in the side, like, you know what I mean? He was not getting him. There's a reason for that.
I'm saying it.
I'm saying it.
I'm
co-signing.
And you can, anybody Israel, y'all can feel how I want to feel. If anybody symbolizes, speaking of symbolism, if anybody symbolizes an Israelite foreigner, it's Stone Cold Steve. I mean, he had a Bible verse for his slogan. We're talking about a man who stood up to a degree.
We got a man who had BMF on his vest before there was such a thing as a BMF, before Black Mafia family came out. And guess what BMF stood for? Bad motherfucker. What white boy wore around calling himself, I'm a bad motherfucker?
Yeah.
That's some fucking blaxploitation.
He clicked up with Tyson to beat up another white man.
See what I'm saying? What about when on his Facebook page, the white people were trying to justify the Confederate flag and he buried them.
I'm gonna try to find that.
We're talking about an amazing time in the era of, of just pop culture. And really the time is, the Attitude Era is about 97 to 02. 97 to 02. That right there, man. I mean, that's the time. That's a hell of a time, man. That's what we call, you know what I'm saying, the good old days and things of that nature. Is that time. You found it?
Yep.
Let's go bring it out.
So somebody said, and let me say this too real quick. Nobody, is there a so-called white person that black people have loved more than Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody.
Clinton. You know, there's a couple people.
He's up there. He's up there though. He's up there in the beloved.
He's up there as like the beloved white person.
Right.
So
right.
Come join the conversation.
So somebody said, for us, it wasn't a sign of hatred or hate or ignorance. Talking about the Confederate flag. It's a sign of Southern pride, a pride in who you are, where you come from, the people who come from, the people you know, stood for heritage, lineage, family, and pride. It never stood for hate. Just stupidity.
Cool.
Yeah, go ahead. Just a lie, a blatant lie. That, you know,
to try to justify whatever.
So Stone Cold, Stone Cold in all caps. That means he means business.
That's right. That's
okay. And
business, and in the words of JR, business is about to pick up.
Yeah. And so Stone Cold Steve Austin replies in all caps. That's nice and all. But if I recall, it don't matter what it means to you, because to African Americans everywhere, it's a symbol of oppression, hatred, and inequality. So your little, and then he puts in quotation marks, heritage not hate story don't mean shit, because your stupid little heritage was built on the backs of slaves. Oh, he's going in. And identifying with that kind of sort of definitely makes you trash in the Texas rattlesnake's eyes.
He refers to himself in the third person. How amazing of a person is this?
He says, so you can continue to spew your bullshit, but just know that none of us care, you dumb racist son of a bitch. And that's the bottom line.
How many white people just got taglines like that?
As soon as he says that, I just imagine somebody throwing him a beer and then just cracking them open, bro. Oh, that nigga's legendary.
That right there, I mean, come on now, number one. But you know, that whole time period, man, it was crazy. This is when, you know, you're dealing with the late '90s. You're dealing with that, right? You're dealing with Jerry Springer becoming popular at that time. Like that whole time period was just, it was based on what now they call shock. Everything was just fucking shocking. You know what I'm saying? Why? What they would put anything on TV that was gonna cause your jaw to drop.
That was the first reality show.
See, that was the first reality show. Was Jerry Springer. So there was nothing, and then Real World came in.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? It came out with the goddamn Real World. It came out with Raw World. All of these various, everything that was birthed in this time, in this bubble between '97 and '02. I mean, that was just. There's just nothing like that. Even the music that was getting made. You see what I'm saying? This is when we're seeing music videos reach a height. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is, I mean, you know, because music videos came out in the 80s. That's when they first started doing visuals for music. You see
Thriller
what I'm
was
saying?
like one of the first big, really super big ones. Conor, am I right?
You said what?
Thriller, one of the big.
What was the first big music?
Yeah.
What was the first music they did? A video killed the radio star. I think that was the first music video ever. Go ahead.
First video I think movie ever was in Harlem was dude shooting in the projects.
Who?
Old school cat. Don't push
me.
Us.
Curtis Blow. Yeah. And then what we had you know, so all that stuff, that was like the foundational time, right? So anytime you look at anything from its foundations, you know, it may not be the best in its foundation, but then once that generation or two come in, now all of a sudden it starts to go to new heights. So that's a lot of what you see in the '90s. A lot of those foundations that were built in the '70s and the '80s, etc., coming to new, unprecedented heights. I mean, but like I said, everything. Even when we look at basketball, when you look at, you know, the Bad Boys, Pistons, Jordan's time, you know, the Bulls, all that's all a product of that. You see what I'm saying? Even when you look back at it, if you look at old tapes, especially if you look at old footage that hasn't had anything really edited, it hasn't been digitally remastered, the fucking commercials aren't, because that's what I said, I'm thinking about the damn Major Payne Money How to Collect commercial. Nigga, the goddamn H&R Block commercial at that time. You know what I'm saying? Or just any commercial, the Circuit City. You know, you're thinking about all that time, and it's just bringing you back like, oh my God. It's just,
do they still have Circuit
Circuit City?
I remember they had one by my house.
Yeah, listen, ain't no Circuit. Remember the Circuit City on the 78? They turned that to the Beamer. BMW.
That was the first Best Buy.
That was way before Best Buy. And I remember, and I knew this was when Circuit City were over when DVDs came out.
Dividends?
When Dividends came out, and my pops, we were looking for some DVDs, and we go into Circuit City, and they had like a dozen DVDs. DVDs in there.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we don't really got them. And we're like, oh, like this is Circuit City's over. Circuit City hasn't caught up yet, nigga. We're going over to what you call Best Buy.
Right.
And you know, that took off. You know,
Right.
it's a wonder that they're still even around. Because I don't remember the last time a nigga even went to Best Buy. Me, I'm not going. If I want something, I'm going to get on Amazon and it'll be at my door. You know what I mean? Why am I even going to Best Buy and dealing with that shit? You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy. But even around that time, what's crazy is this. In 1996, you know, Vince McMahon produced a television show. It's called Raw, called Monday Night Raw, but that just 3-letter word, it summed up that whole time period. Raw, everything was just raw. It was live. It was raw. It was gritty. You never knew what was gonna happen. You see what I'm saying? And that was the whole point. This is when live TV became big.
Yeah.
Everything wasn't going fucking live.
Yeah.
You know, unless it was, you know, professional sports. Other than that, we're doing nothing live. Why? But that unpredictability, understanding that, nigga, this is live. Anything can happen at any moment.
Right.
Someone could die hypothetically.
Somebody could hypothetically lose their life, and we'd all see it because we're seeing it as it happened. So you're there, and even when WCW WWE started doing their ratings war, Eric Bischoff said he was looking to beat them to every quarter hour. I don't want to beat you every hour or even every half hour. I want to beat you every 15 minutes. But if you can beat somebody every 15 minutes, that means people are locked in. They're not switching channels over to see what they got going on over there because they're too glued to what you're doing. 15 minutes, nigga, I'm still watching.
Yo, can you just imagine during that time period being at the forefront of that, at the helm of that, and monetizing that? Understanding that,
understanding, and that's why. And what people don't understand is because now we know that WWE is become the legacy it is.
Right.
It was not that in the '90s. WCW dominated it until The Rock, Austin, DX really got their wings. You see what I'm saying? Before that, nigga, WCW had a 70-man roster. Let's start there.
Yeah.
They had enough money to put 70 motherfuckers on the payroll. Mexicans, Japanese, they're bringing in these niggas from all over the world. See what I'm saying? Sting, Goldberg, Hulk, Nash, Hulk. People that they're stealing. You can't steal somebody from WWF unless you're coming with M's.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And the low level nigga on that roster was getting $750,000.
Damn.
You see what I'm saying? That's the low level nigga.
Serious?
But that's how much they bankroll because Ted Turner owned it.
Yeah, right.
This is Ted Turner's money. This is CNN money, TNT money, TBS money. That's the money that is behind this. So it's not a price. Ted Turner's checkbook. You can write a blank check here. Hogan, what do you want? You see what I'm saying? Hogan was acting like WWE but here's why. So when we go back, monetization, going into monetizing things, right? When Eric comes, he's the one. It used to be just 4 pay-per-views a year. He went up to 7. Then he said, well, we're going to go up to 12 because now you're getting pay-per-view money. Every month, somebody's spending $30. 1 million people are going to give you $30. Right? That's $30 million. Then you're going to get a sponsor because every pay-per-view has a sponsor. Brought to you by, now you got sponsorship dollars.
Paid advertising.
You see what I'm saying? Then you, of course, got an arena where people are going to pay to sit in because it's a pay-per-view. You get hiked the price up. You got what they call in wrestling, what we call the house. It's all about, because back in the day, wrestling was all about the house. How many people can you draw? But when you look retrospectively to the deterioration of the entertainment value of wrestling, what you understand is, why was wrestling more entertaining then than now? Because the focus was to talk about the fight you're going to have in the most provocative way to get people to want to come and watch it.
That's right.
In the last year, they haven't even had crowds. So of course they're not talking in a way that's going to get people to want to come out and watch. Because nobody's going to come out and watch anyway. Nigga, they're shooting at the goddamn the Amway Center empty. That's right. With TV screens everywhere, people watching fucking via Zoom calls.
You think the storylines have even been?
Oh, the storylines are bad, and here's why.
There's only one remember the show we went to with Bobby, what was it, Bobby
Lashley and Lana.
He took old boy. That's the only in recent memory that.
And guess what?
And that one.
And a lot of people hated that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that was, a lot of people blame Paul Heyman for that story, but that was clearly a Vince McMahon story. I don't see why anybody thought anything else with that. But since then, the dude is actually the part of the company. He's now working at another company, and now they just put his wife through a table every week. It's pretty bad. But they got a good storyline going on with Roman Reigns right now. Yeah. The Samoan family.
Since he beat cancer, right?
And he beat cancer. Yeah. But no, they're not. championing that. He's a bad guy now. He's what they call a heel now. So they've got him like as this sinister Samoan mob boss right now. It's good.
That's crazy, and just knowing that his people, what they say to him is "Die, Roman, die."
Yeah,
die,
but see,
die.
it's the same thing like with The Rock.
Yeah.
They said the same thing with The Rock when it was Rocky
sucks.
died.
Rocky
sucks.
Yeah.
And then he joined the Nation of Domination. He became this arrogant asshole that only referred to himself in the third person, and that's when when he became a nigga, that's when he was bought into. You see what I'm saying?
Like that Samoan shit.
But with Roman, now that he's become a Samoan, now people are they just want everybody to be true to themselves.
Yeah.
Rocky, you's a nigga, bro. Be a nigga. You're a damn Samoan, Roman. Stop trying to be the hero and be some damn sinister Samoan. And now people like him. You see what I'm saying?
Rock was trying to come with them tribal ass outfits and they had nigga wear them Versace.
Exactly, but he came with them goddamn Versace.
That's what you.
Bro, when we were young, this nigga came with a Versace shirt. We're like, nigga, what is this? We don't even know this is a Versace shirt. We just know it's a shirt and it looks crazy. It's got a lion on it. You just want the shirt.
What's a Versace shirt?
You know what I'm saying? F.O. So we didn't even know about. First, we started learning about Versace on next Friday. You know what I mean? That's when we started learning about F.O. Sachi. You know what I'm saying?
Rock changed the game in the whole WWE. He changed the game.
He changed the game. So you had him. Then you got this fucking redneck, but he's got like a street edge. And
he's got the gold chains too.
He's got a gold chain. He's got a fucking gold Austin. He's got a Cuban chain on, a gold hoop in his ear. He's limping to the ring. You don't understand.
And he's flipping everybody off.
But for some reason, we're cheering the nigga that told all of us fuck you.
Wait, matter of fact, when he goes into the ring, the first thing he does is he goes to the corner of each side of the ring and flips everybody.
And everybody's just like, yes, fuck me. Yes. But see, that's how you know. See that's where the term in wrestling comes called being over. When you so over that it doesn't matter what you do, the people are gonna explode. You remember when just go watch any of the tapes. When that glass breaks, he don't have to walk out yet. When that glass breaks, the arena just the roof just comes off. There's not a roof anymore. You see what I'm saying? Because what about that time he came to the ring? He got on the mic and all he said is, I'm a little pissed off. Explosion. Another explosion. They just chilled out. He just waited for everyone to stop cheering for him. Then the first thing he says, I'm a little pissed off, they explode again. That's when you're in full control of that crowd.
Or how about people waiting a whole hour just to see him, the glass breaks, everybody goes crazy. He stone cold stuns one person. Everybody goes crazy, and he just walks out. And everybody, listen, everybody's satisfied.
But that's the man.
That's what they paid for.
We all paid for that. Everything else is whatever.
$39.99 to see him stone cold stun one
individual. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how fucking great. That's how great the motherfucker was. And the cold thing is, but going into the deterioration of the storylines, they've got, you know what Vince McMahon has done, because WWE is such a large corporation. You can go on LinkedIn and job websites and put your application in for this shit, right? So there's people who left hit major TV shows to come and write for wrestling when wrestling is not that complicated. It's not as complicated as to write this intricate storyline. Two people need to have a reason to want to fuck each other up.
That's it, bro.
And they need to, go at each other a little bit here and there up until you finally say, okay, they're going to get this match. You know what I'm saying? The shit is simple. It's not complicated. Now you're bringing on somebody who writes it fucking for Lost, and they're like, yeah, well, this person's gonna get sucked into a vortex, and then, you know what I mean? Like,
it was really
so I had no idea. So eventually, I know it was Raw before, but eventually they went into the side of just they were writing out scripts like they do actually for reality TV.
Well, they always have wrote out scripts. Vince has always wrote out scripts.
Okay.
Everybody doesn't write out scripts, but Vince has always written out scripts, and I believe WCW had scripts as well.
Okay.
So what they're doing now in wrestling is like everything, and this has been like this for the last 10, 15, maybe 20. Everything is heavily scripted, right? As opposed to going, listen, you need to go out here, you need to talk about this, hit these points, go ahead, and now you're figuring out what you need to say organically.
Right.
Now, very controlled. And it has actually backfired.
Yep.
It's not good now. You hear the dialogue the motherfuckers having, and it's like, bro, this is like almost embarrassing to watch some of this shit.
It's the same thing that's going on reality show TVs now. I mean,
it's scripted.
Like, honestly, like, I don't love Love and Hip Hop and all those other shows, but you can definitely see a difference now in those shows where it's like they're talking about such stupid content where it's like, what the fuck? Like, that wouldn't even happen during that situation. Like, what are you talking about?
Where's the true? People want
Right.
to see true drama, unpredictability, etc. That's what did it. But what really revolutionized the underbelly of all this, you got WCW, you have WWE, but of course, the underbelly of that is called ECW, and that actually set every trend, it kicked everything off. Has anybody ever seen Stone Cold do the what thing? What? Where everybody talking, he just goes, what? What? You see what I'm saying? To the point where anybody comes out there and the crowd is just doing it. He did that in ECW like 95. He didn't start doing that in WWE until the 2000s. But he did that in ECW in 95 after he got fired from WCW. Goes to ECW, starts cutting promos. Before he starts pounding beer, he's doing that with the Sandman, things of that nature. So what happens in ECW is you got Paul Heyman, right? And Paul Heyman, he's in bed with not in bed, he's in business with what's his dude? Todd something, right? I forget the goddamn devil's name. And they got a NWA affiliate called Eastern Championship Wrestling, right? Do a huge tournament. Shane Douglas wins the NWA title, and then throws it down. Fuck this. We're not doing this shit no more, right? Nobody knows that's gonna happen. Only Paul and Shane Douglas know. So then he changes Eastern Championship Wrestling into Extreme Championship Wrestling, and now this whole concept of a raucous crowd, the extreme shit, you know what I'm saying? All that now comes into play. Thrown through tables, flaming shit, flying off of ladders, scaffolds.
That shit got ridiculous.
Yeah, all that comes from them.
Yeah.
So then the bigger companies are watching that work, and they're taking elements of it, or they're poaching talent from it, and bringing it up to their company.
What's the brother's name? He was a part of ECW. New Jack. Yeah, that's all ECW, isn't it?
Yeah. Which he comes from Smoky Mountain though. So he worked at Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and that's where he got really cultivated in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. When you had the gadget, him, Mustafa Ali, D'Lo Brown. I think they had somebody else. My main man D'Lo, right? So, but what they were was just these badasses, gangsters. And Smoky Mountain ran mostly smaller white towns. You see what I'm saying? So he would just get up there and be racially antagonistic all the time.
And shout out to OJ and stuff.
Yeah, like, hey, shout out to OJ. Keep up the good work. Two less we got to worry about in an arena full of white people.
Well, he beat up the old white man nearly to death.
No, that dude was Native American.
Oh, really?
And he beat up Gypsy Joe.
Damn.
Beat the hell out of that old man, but that was much later. So at Smoky Mountain, he's doing that. He's got that persona. This is with Jim Cornette. So Jim Cornette, if people don't remember Jim Cornette, he used to come out with the tennis racket, right? He was running Smoky Mountain. And he told him, like, hey, look, go out there and talk about OJ tonight. You know what I'm saying? So he'd go out there and talk about OJ. He was making sure that he would do things that would piss these white people off. You know what I'm saying? And it was really provocative. So then he goes over to ECW, and that, you know what I mean? He comes with a persona there where he's jumping off all type. Niggas doing all type of shit, right? So all that happens there, but a lot of people get their first run there. And then, like, when you think about the Eddie Guerreros of the world, the Chris Benoits of the world, all them dudes, they had to come through there first and then get there, you know what I'm saying, before they got their break. So, but that was really shaping and molding it, and what Paul Heyman credits as his inspiration for going in that direction is what? Rap music. He wanted to make a wrestling form of the feel that you got from a rap music video. He wanted to just take that and put a ring in it. You see what I'm saying? So this level of raw violence, unpredictability, all that, he literally just wanted to embody rap music with that. So when we go back now, our people and our culture influenced and was the catalyst to the biggest and boomingest period of professional wrestling. Professional wrestling history with 50 million people.
I got it now.
15 million people are watching every week. Is because of us and our influence and our culture. Now, somebody may say, well, all the top guys, there was only a few black top guys, of course, because this is being controlled by white men at the top, and they can control, they make the champion whoever they want. They say, okay, tomorrow you're going to be the championship. Then you're going to get it. You see what I'm saying? But it took really WCW is who really pushed Booker T. You see what I'm saying? To be who he is.
He was a beast.
You see what I'm saying? And he was talented, and him and his brother was going around winning all the tag team championships, but they're the ones that really said, and when you look at Booker T is, you know, a true form, because he's really a quadruple crown champion in WCW. He had the tag team championship multiple times, television championship, United States championship, and world championship. Had world and United States simultaneously multiple times. So he really, you could say, started from level 0 and went all the way to the top. You see what I'm saying? And you know, that was a big deal. So, but if it was up to us, or you know, or we were in control, more of us would have been up there. But even WCW put Ron Simmons, Farouk gave him to make him the first black world champion, major black world champion ever. It's Farouk. You see what I'm saying? So what's crazy is WCW is a Southern organization. The good old boys put the belt on a black man before up north Vince McMahon ever did. Because the first black man to hold it is Rock. See what I'm saying? And another black man doesn't hold it after Rock until Kofi Kingston. That was, what, 3 years ago?
Wow.
No, that was, yeah, coming up on 3 years ago. Right? So they literally hadn't been a black champion in like 14, 15 years. That's WWE champion. They created a secondary world heavyweight belt, which was just the WCW title with a WWE logo on top of it, that they gave to Mark Henry and Booker T. You see what I'm saying? But that their main title, that their lineage comes from the 60s, only The Rock and Kofi Kingston.
That's it.
Only black people that ever hold it. Rock and Kofi Kingston. Right? Keith Lee is challenging for it tonight. He won't get it. Right? If he gets it, and I gotta eat my words on that, I'll be surprised. There's no way Keith Lee, a brother who I know personally as well, there's no way he's getting that belt tonight. Against the damn Scottishman in a kilt. He's not gonna beat him for some reason. But you know, but it's crazy. But our culture, our people, in you know, coming out of the environment created for us, right, influenced all of this. So now that our people aren't the influence of it, now look where it is. They're struggling to get 3 million people to watch.
That's right. That's right.
They had 5 times that on a weekly basis, steadily. We didn't have, you know what I'm saying, a DVR, nigga. You didn't have a streaming service. That's right. Because now how do I watch? If I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it on fucking Hulu. You see what I'm saying? I'm not watching this shit live. You had to be home at 9 o'clock because Raw is on.
Yeah.
You know, what else you gonna do? You can't wait. You're at school. You're talking about it. You see what I'm saying? You got the shirt on. You know what I mean? At school. Now people don't give a fuck like that, bro. I mean, it's a niche thing. You know what I'm saying? But there's plenty of niches, and they got a dedicated, like anime got a dedicated fan base, and you got the nerds that are gonna actually go to the fucking convention dressed up. You know what I mean? But everybody's not finna do that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Everybody's not doing it.
I'm not gonna do that.
He's not doing it. He'll watch anime.
See, there was a time I might have done it. I would judge me Afro Samurai, something like that. But that's a level. That's a whole other level of nerdism right there.
That you're not ready for.
I'm not. I mean, I love anime more than probably most people. Watched probably 50 different anime ever. Read a gang of manga, but I'm not on that level.
Not doing it. You know, not doing it. Right. But it's you know, if you know they've gotten so far away from it, and it's so corporate now. WWE is a publicly traded company. So every quarter now they have to answer to shareholders.
Oh yeah, so many opinions.
See what I'm saying?
What's their stock at right now?
I want to look. I'll find out.
Let's see.
47.22 is down 1.73%.
What was the all-time high?
Let me take a look. Where you start?
Let me go to Forex. Let's see.
99.25, I think, is all time high. Yeah, just above $96 is the high, and they hit that in 2 years ago. Wow. And they were throwing a lot of money around 2 years ago.
Wow.
And then this pandemic is hitting now. A lot of wrestlers are going to resign. I just read the article about it yesterday because they don't have this. They're not throwing the same money around.
honestly, I didn't think wrestling was popping. You said 2 years. That's when they just hit that 96.
96, their all-time high stock. But the reason is because of the Saudi deal. They have a deal with the Saudi Arabians for like 700 M's.
We're talking about that.
That's why it is. They got to go do 2 shows a year in Saudi Arabia.
Help.
Exactly.
They got some help.
That really shot the stocks up.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was.
Yeah. I mean, the same things are happening in all sports, but especially just kind of segue into football a little bit. But I mean, think about it. There aren't a lot of fans. But let's back up. Let's start off with the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. Even further than that, Salaki. Let's start off with Kaepernick. Mm-hmm. Coming back, right? Boom, boom, boom. We all know what he did. But you have a lot of fans that are saying we are not watching football based off of the stunts that he did. I feel you see what I'm saying?
I only would watch if I'm somewhere and it's on.
Right.
I'm not turning my TV on.
Exactly. So that's you. Now imagine Edom. You know what I'm saying? Imagine them. You know what I'm saying? So they're definitely not watching it, right? And then so what they're doing now, from my knowledge, is since the people can't come to the game, they're allowing they're giving the football player, they're giving the people access to the players. That's why you're starting to see a lot of commercials with players with different types of deals. You're starting to see a lot of football players that are being in certain events that you wouldn't normally see them in. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Now it was before it was with Gatorade, it was Nike, blah blah blah. Now
the official exactly that had deals with the league.
Right. Because the ratings are down. You know what I'm saying? The ratings are absolutely down. So it's just like
and think about if football ratings are down. And this is the most watched sport in America, and has been as long as I can remember. What does that say?
This place is gone.
This place is done.
This place is done.
Yeah.
And people are consuming things differently now, and now they got to figure out how to start gauging these things. Because even if you go on to Nielsen, if you go on to like the TV ratings thing, they got like the different rating systems, but one of them is the streaming service rating. Mm-hmm. But the streaming service rating is always like a month behind. Mm-hmm. Which I don't understand why. So I mean, it has to probably be with them actually giving people the results. There's how do they not know automatically? I mean, it's all digitally based.
Right.
What's going on? They must not be surrendering results fast enough. But they've got to move into that. You see what I'm saying? Because if they don't move into that, it's going to be a problem because people aren't just to me watching TV sounds like just miserable. You see what I'm saying? To sit through commercials. You know what I mean? When we're in a place where we could just press play on whatever the fuck we want, why are we sitting through commercials?
And think about it too, right? Is it really what we want? Because if you watch that clip, what was that that Netflix special, The Social Experiment? Y'all seen that?
I ain't seen that.
You gotta watch that, bro. Like you guys really got. Have you seen it?
Which one is it called?
It's called the Carnival. You know what I'm talking about? It's
I have the one they did at Stanford.
It's called The Social Experiment.
This the Social Experiment.
I
think I seen it yesterday, but I ain't watched it.
I'll just kind of recap on it a little bit. It's ridiculous. Anything that you think that you want to watch, it's really not you. It's based off of algorithms that they created, and now that algorithm.
Yeah, they're programming your mind to watch.
That's all. We all know this, but when you see it firsthand,
and you understand how it breaks down.
How it breaks down, you're like, holy shit, and you can't even do nothing about it because all the materials that you've watched over the last 20 seconds, days, 2 weeks, or whatever. It's just gonna keep on circulating.
Listen, and I'm gonna tell you like this, right? Like for example, in music, there are probably a dozen guys that the majority of people in the world are in the black world, I'll say, listen to. All the girls, I hear all the girls, playing the same songs.
Right.
And then I'm seeing what they're doing. If you get around them, and they put the YouTube. It's on this YouTube is just feeding these videos.
Same thing.
So I'm going because there's a particular artist and he's very popular right now, and I can't for the life of me understand because to me he's really just not good, right? Which is Lil Durk. Yeah. He's just really to me he's just really like I've heard it. There was a time when he first came out, and I kind of liked him. Yeah, he was cool, but like as of right now, when I hear the girls playing the songs, I'm just like, what? He doesn't have bars.
And he sounds like a lesser thug.
Like a lesser thug.
Yep.
It's like, I don't get it. But once I seen how the YouTube is, I'm like, oh, you don't even like it. you were told to like it, and you just are just programmed. You know what I'm saying? This shit is nuts. But break down more of that social experiment.
Well, no. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, Kenny. I mean, it's that. But you know, what was really striking to me and what was interesting was the fact that, you know, how they actually figured out the algorithm. You know, they were able to monetize, and like throughout the whole entire video, they were actually showing like a real live person going through their day to day, and then like it was some people back at the brain office, basically, oh, Alizar didn't tap in on his friends today. Why not? Oh, let's go ahead and send him a few feet. It's like it knows your timing, your seconds, your minutes, your
because
hours.
look, I've got multiple Instagram accounts signed in on my Instagram, but I really mainly just stay on the Guerrilla Hebrew one. So after I'm like, if I refresh my feed and they're like, oh, you're all caught up here, but go hop on this other profile you got, you know, hop on the Urban Guerrilla profile, hop on the Exodus 1715 profile, because you're not caught up on there.
Right.
And there's a couple people that you usually check up on that you haven't checked up on.
Right, exactly. Nah, I mean, it's just crazy, man, and it just kind of lets you know, like, you know, the more and more I look back at it, especially being in the truth, but I think a lot of people are waking up to this whole, we don't necessarily, this might be off the topic. So
you good, just build.
We don't believe in the government. We don't believe what this place is representing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people.
And you know, good, bad, or different, whatever, we just don't take your word for it. Obviously, you got those people, you know, who fought in wars and just, you know, they're just good old American people, but whatever. But they just don't, nah, I ain't doing it. Because I'm hearing a lot of Edomites now saying, like, yo, I ain't taking no vaccine shot.
Hell yeah.
I ain't taking no vaccine shot. They can miss me with that. I'm like, wow. You know,
a lot of them.
So, you know, it's just interesting to see. It's like, okay, the world is waking up, but yet shit is still spinning. It's still spinning. It's still setting itself up because it has to. I mean, that's what the Most High ordained. But it's interesting, though, man. It's very interesting seeing this all unfold in real time, and then actually getting a front row seat and understanding being the Matrix, right?
It's the Matrix. We're in the Matrix.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. With that, we're going to close out. We're going to give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. Say shalom.
Shalom.